doesn't fall. Okay, my name is Captain Eric Scott, the lead public information officer for the Palisades Fire. On behalf of everyone behind me, thank you for being here. Thank you for educating the public through your message. So this is all for the Palisades Fire, which is approximately 1,200 acres. And to go into all the specifics, we have a list of 8 individuals that will speak for you today. After those 8 individuals, we'll have Spanish, and then we'll have follow-up questions. After that, we'll have one-on-one interviews and let you know when the next press conference will be. So we ask at this time, please silence your cell phones, turn down your radios, keep your sidebar conversations off to the side. But to begin with, we'd like to call up the Fire Chief of the Los Angeles City Fire Department, Kristen Crowley.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'll be giving you a brief on what your LEFD has done up to this point. So at 10:30 this morning, a brush fire was reported at 1190 North Piedra Miranda Drive in our local fire station here right behind us at Fire Station 23. Los Angeles is currently experiencing an extreme fire weather condition with red flag alert. At the time of the fire, the relative humidity was 12 and the winds were approximately 25 miles an hour with gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Based on the red flag weather, your LEFD pre-deployed additional resources, made public awareness notifications, and issued parking restrictions in high hazard fire areas to ensure that the means of access and egress of our local fire stations and apparatus could move up and in around the area. First LEFD resources reported initially a 10-acre fire with 40-mile-per-hour winds and alignment heading towards the west or towards the ocean. The LEFD then requested all resources, including strike teams and aircraft from assisting agencies. We then went into an aggressive attack and focused our efforts on fire life safety operations, beginning with evacuations. Currently, the fire is at 1,261 acres and growing based on aerial reconnaissance. The fire is being fueled by a combination of strong winds and surrounding topography, which is making it extremely challenging for our personnel that are assigned to this incident. We currently have over 250 LEFD firefighters on scene, including 46 engines, 3 trucks, 5 helicopters, 4 brush patrols, 2 water tenders, 6 paramedic ambulances, 1 fast response vehicle, 1 advanced nurse practitioner unit, 2 bulldozers, 10 chief officers, fire investigators, and safety officers. Additionally, we are so grateful for the hundreds of law enforcement officers, partner agencies, first responders, and public work members that are engaged actively in this operation. PCH is closed from Lincoln Tunnel to Topanga Boulevard. Evacuation orders are in place for approximately 30,000 residents, including the Highlands area. North of PCH, south of Topanga Canyon Boulevard, east of Tuna Canyon Road, west of Seabreeze Drive and Surfside Drive. Our evacuation center is the Westwood Recreation Center located at 1350 South Sepulveda Boulevard in LA. The population threatened is approximately 25,748. Households threatened is approximately 10,367. Structures threatened are approximately 13,208. At this point, we feel very blessed at this point that there's no injuries that are reported. We do have reports of multiple structures that are damaged. Since the beginning of this fire, I've been in constant communication with Mayor Bass, as well as other city leadership, who's working very, very closely. As you can see, this entire entity behind me, we're working seamlessly and closely to ensure that we are protecting lives and property first. So with that, we'll go ahead and introduce the next speaker.
Thank you, Chief Crowley. The next speaker will be the Los Angeles County Fire Chief Maroney.
So good afternoon. My name is Anthony Maroney. I'm the County of Los Angeles Fire Department Chief. Shortly after the start of the Palisades fire, LA County Fire did assist the City of Los Angeles with a first alarm brush assignment. At 11:30 hours this morning, our LA County Fire Department went into unified command with the City of Los Angeles, and at 12:30, our CalFire partners from the state went into unified command with not only LA City Fire, LA County Fire, and LAPD. Currently, LA County Fire is providing aerial resources to fight this brush fire, including our Firehawk helicopters, our CH-47, part of our nighttime QRF resource that we have, in addition to our CL-415 Super Scoopers. We also have 3 engine strike teams assigned and almost 100 LA County Fire personnel. I want to let all of the viewers and listeners know that we are not out of danger. The National Weather Service has predicted that the winds are going to pick up and get worse. We're going to have the most significant wind event between 10 p.m. this evening and 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. So it's incumbent that everybody have a wildfire action plan for their home if they live in a brush-covered area. Please visit the LA County Fire Department website for ready, set, go information. So that's fire.lacounty.gov/RSG. And for the most up-to-date incident information and emergency preparedness information, go to lacounty.gov/emergency. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. During emergencies, always by our side is our friends from law enforcement. So we'd like to invite LAPD Chief of Police Jim McDonald.
Thank you very much. We are here in a support role to our fire partners. Just a quick rundown. We have over 100 officers here deployed, another approximately 60 ready to be deployed once a mission is given to them. So far, the major job for our people have been evacuation, traffic control, allowing ingress and egress to emergency vehicles, and those can be helpful. I would have an ask that if you would, please do everything you can to open up the streets so we can get the resources we need to be able to deal with this emergency. Please take this wind emergency very seriously. As you heard from the speakers before me, this is something that is going to get worse throughout the night, so we all have to look out for each other. Areas of evacuation so far, about 30,000 people have been evacuated from a total of 10,000 households or 15,000 structures, to include businesses and other buildings so far, with no injury. So we're very thankful for that. But we truly ask for all assistance that we can get in making this as smooth as we possibly can. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief McDonald. We'd also like to call up LA County Supervisor Lindsay Horvath, please.
Thank you. My deepest thanks to the first responders who are working tirelessly to fight this Palisades fire. Moments ago, Chair Barger signed LA County's emergency proclamation for this fire, for the severe wind event and all of the fires related to it. As the National Weather Service predicted, this is a life-threatening situation. To our Palisades and Topanga community under evacuation order, please leave. Ensure your home is unlocked, the power is off, and making sure first responders can easily access the structure. This is essential to keeping you safe and to allowing fire and first responder personnel to do their work. For our unincorporated communities in Santa Monica Mountains, including Sunset Mesa, Topanga Canyon, and Malibu, all under evacuation order and evacuation warning, please ensure you are checking emergency.lacounty.gov and heeding all door-to-door information from our LA County Sheriff and Fire Departments. Thanks to our partners at the Topanga Coalition for Emergency Preparedness, who work year-round to practice evacuation drills and emergency preparedness, and they're working tirelessly right now to ensure information is shared across Topanga. For those with livestock, the evacuation location is Pierce College. For those needing small animal evacuation location, the Agora Animal Shelter is available to you. Thank you to Governor Newsom for your quick support and coordination. Thanks to Mayor Bass, to Councilmember Park, and all of the council members in the city, and all of our partners, city, county, and state, unified and working together to keep people safe and address this fire. The county and city of Los Angeles have a lot of experience in unified command. This emergency is no different. We're dedicating every resource we can to urgently contain this fire. I want to extend my gratitude to the Los Angeles County Fire Department, the Sheriff's Department, the Office of Emergency Management, and all of our county partners. I know LAUSD officials also wanted to be with us, but given the conditions, that was challenging. A few school updates. Topanga Elementary at Woodland Hills Academy will be relocated all week. Palisades and Marquez Elementaries will be relocated at Brentwood Science Magnet for tomorrow. Paul Revere Middle School will be relocated at University High tomorrow. Pali High School is not in session this entire week, and Canyon Elementary will be relocated at a location to be determined. To those affected by the Palisades fire, I know today is terrifying and it is painful. Please know that you are not alone. The County of Los Angeles and all of our partners are here together to stand with you and be in support of you. Thank you again to everyone who is contributing resources to this incident. Your partnership is appreciated and it is essential to keeping people safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor. Next, we'd like to bring up Los Angeles City Council President Marquis Harris-Dawson.
Thank you so much. I just want everybody to know that since this morning, about 7 a.m., I've been in direct communication with Mayor Bass, who's on her way home from a diplomatic mission on behalf of the United States government. She will be here within hours. Also, we want everybody to know that the city is well prepared and has a tremendous emergency management infrastructure who has been on the case since 6 this morning at the beginning of this wind event. I'm proud to say that we have some of the best men and women anywhere in our fire department, our police department, as well as their partners across the state and across the county. I am also want everybody to know that as acting mayor and president of the LA City Council, along with the county, and we'll hear from the governor later, the city of LA is declaring a state of emergency through this wind event, and we'll have all resources on deck. And our ask, our personal ask, and we'll hear from the council member from this district, but if you can stay off of our roads, please do so to allow emergency vehicles to go across the city. And also remember, we'll continue to drive this home. The worst and most severe part of this wind event is yet to come. So if you're around the city and you have been spared, be thankful, but also be on guard. Bring your lawn furniture in. And again, help us by staying off the roads. And I will ask the council member from this district who's been on the street since early this morning, making sure the neighborhoods have the information that they need and resources that they need to come to the podium, our own Councilwoman Tracy Park.
Thank you everyone for being here, and Council President Harris-Dawson. I want to begin by thanking all of our public safety partners. LA City Fire has over 250 firefighters on the front lines in the hillsides right now, actively fighting this fire, supported by more than 100 firefighters from LA County Fire, as well as additional resources from Orange County, Ventura County, CalFire, and neighboring cities, including Arcadia and Santa Monica. I also want to thank our partners in law enforcement for their terrific coordinated response with us today. LAPD, LA County Sheriff's Department, CHP is here, as well as our park rangers. Obviously, the scope and scale of today's fire here in the Palisades has been terrifying. We are so incredibly grateful for the swift response. And to my constituents here in the Pacific Palisades, I want to reiterate, this is not a drill. This is an actual public safety emergency. Areas west of Mandeville Canyon and north of Sunset have been ordered for evacuation, so please make sure that you are packed and ready to go and complying with all directives being given to you by law enforcement and our partners at the fire service as well. LA City is activating emergency shelter at Westwood Recreation Center. People in the Palisades who have been displaced by today's events are invited to go there. We are working with animal services to receive and care for pets that are being displaced as well. And as additional resources come online, we'll be providing those updates for you. Local residents should follow along for additional information and updates through official city channels, as well as LAPD, LAFD, and LA County updates, as this is a dynamic situation. This is a fast-moving and growing fire at over 1,200 acres at this point. And with the predicted wind patterns and continued weather event, we expect the situation to continue through the evening. It may take our partners at Fire a couple of days to get the situation under control. It may be some time until people are allowed to return to their homes and residences. Please bear with us through this period as our public safety partners work hard to protect lives and property and ensure that this area is safe before people return. In the meantime, if anyone needs additional assistance, I would welcome them to reach out to me and my team. All of our contact information is at cd11.lacity.gov. Thank you to my friends and constituents, and thank you to all of our partners, including Governor Newsom, for being here with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. We'd like to now ask Council Member John Lee to please speak.
First of all, I just want to thank all the firefighters who are on and first responders that are fighting this fire right now. Also, a big thank you to all the organizations throughout the city, county, and state that are assisting our firefighters in what they need to do today. As chair of the Public Safety Committee, it's my job to monitor situations all throughout the city of Los Angeles. And the most important information that I can share with you today is to all of our residents. As soon as we get any new information, we are trying to disseminate that as quickly as possible. It's important that you listen to that information. As someone who represents a district that is commonly affected by fires, I'll tell you one of the issues that we ask our residents to do is, if you're asked to evacuate, if you're asked to stay off the road, whatever it is that we're asking you, if you're in one of those affected areas, that you don't create additional problems for our firefighters, so our firefighters can focus on what they're supposed to do, and that's getting this fire out. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Council Member. And now we'd like to ask the Governor, Gavin Newsom, to please speak.
Thank you, everybody. Hell of a way to start a new year. Again, let me add my voice, the voice of so many others, in extending deep appreciation to the men and women in uniform across jurisdictions. I want to thank, in particular, Chief Crowley and Chief Morone for your outstanding leadership, Police Chief, Sheriff's Office, all of our local law enforcement agencies that work hand in glove. There is simply no better mutual aid system anywhere in the United States of America, and you're seeing it now at scale once again here in Southern California. I say once again because we were here not too long ago, the Franklin Fire, a few weeks prior to that, the Mountain Fire, November, December, now January. There's no fire season, it's fire year, it's year round. And it's incredibly important that we heed the warnings, the calls, that we're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. You may feel at home that you're fine down in Riverside County, San Bernardino County, down in Ventura County, other parts of the state, but there's a reason we pre-positioned hundreds of assets and personnel on Sunday in anticipation of this wind event. 110 engines specifically were sent down, 45 by CalFire, 65 through our mutual aid system, through the Office of Emergency Services, water tenders down here, 7 new helicopters we brought from Northern California down to Southern California. We just brought our C-130 down from Northern California and already just had its first drop. By no stretch of the imagination are we out of the woods. You heard Chief say 10 p.m. tonight, till 5 a.m. tomorrow will be peak winds. And having just quite literally an hour or so ago gone up the canyon and saw firsthand the impact of these swirling winds and the embers and the number of structures that are destroyed, not a few, many structures already destroyed, and the fact that people were still not evacuated, still did not heed the warning, were just coming down the canyon, is a reminder of how serious this moment is and how important it is you listen to these evacuation orders. We've all been to memorials. I've never been to a memorial for a building, but for family members and loved ones. I know you cannot say this enough. It's foundational. One other thing I want to say, because you can't say it enough, is expression of gratitude. The President of the United States happens to be in town. It didn't take more than a text message to get the FMAG approved, which means we're getting reimbursed for the vast majority of these costs. No politics, no hand-wringing, no kissing of the feet. The President of the United States said, yes, what else do you need? Emergency proclamations being drafted as we speak. And I just want to thank the President, because that's something I don't take for granted and something we should not take for granted at this moment in American history. So thank you, President Biden, as well. Final point. We encourage you. You heard all those websites. I don't want to burden you with any more except one. Fire.ca.gov. And why do I say that? Nothing like it in the country. It's nothing like that we've seen in any jurisdiction around the world. 3D maps and live cams on fire.ca.gov would also show you the evacuation orders. I encourage people to take a look at that site for information. And of course, ready.ca.org to make sure that you're prepared as we work through yet another extraordinary month in this fire year, perpetual fire year here in the state of California. Thank you again to all of the folks behind me and the outstanding leadership of all the elected officials as well. And forgive me, one point I'd be remiss. Thank you to Mayor Bass, who was on the phone immediately this morning, making sure even in absentia that she's here organizing everything she can to make sure we're successful as well.
Thank you, Governor. Appreciate that. We'd like to open this up now for Spanish, and then we'll go to questions. So we'd like to have Public Information Officer for LAFD, David Ortiz.
Buenas tardes. A las 10:30 de esta tarde comenzó un incendio en la comunidad de Pacific Palisades en el municipio de Los Ángeles. Este incendio rápidamente se propagó a más de 700 acres. Han habido la orden de evacuación para 30,000 personas en esta área y pedimos al público que siga la dirección de la policía en las áreas que está siendo evacuada, ya que su vida sí está en peligro. Pedimos su cooperación. Este incendio no es típico de esta magnitud y de este poder, y potencialmente puede quitar vidas. Por eso pedimos al público que siga la dirección de los oficiales que están en el área. Cuando le dan la orden de evacuación, siga esa orden de evacuación. Estamos en comando unificado entre el municipio, la ciudad de Los Ángeles, el condado de Los Ángeles, el estado de California, y se han hecho recursos disponibles a través del estado de California para apoyar este esfuerzo para apagar este incendio. Esperamos que este incendio va a ser de larga duración y agradecemos su paciencia y su cooperación. Se espera que los vientos van a aumentar esta noche, y por eso, si no ha evacuado esta área que es de Merrimack a la calle Topanga y Mulholland al Pacific Coast Highway, por favor, evacúe en este momento. Es hora de evacuar. Gracias.
Thank you, Dave. And when we open this up, if you have a particular member that your question is directed to, please go ahead and mention that individual in addition to your question. Chase? Okay.
No, I will leave that to the folks that are organizing. Maybe, Chief, you have some thoughts on that specific example.
Sure. So the specific question was in the Palisades area or the Highland area, you said, where it was challenging for the constituents to evacuate. We did push out information for people to evacuate. Now, the lean forward posture, and I want to talk about that first and foremost, was communicating the potential threat of what was coming. That information was out. It was out early in regard to everybody be ready, set, and go. When that go order came out, at that point, that is that very important point where the public can and should heed that warning and start to evacuate. Now we know there's limited access and egress in certain areas within the hills right behind me. So with that, that's what we believe did happen. People did evacuate. It was slow to evacuate. What I have been briefed on is that the evacuations were slow, but they did occur, and we will follow up on that if there's anything better in the future that we can communicate to the constituents and continue to train to that, because the evacuation order, we can never do it early enough. So with that, we want to continue to work with the community, ensure that when that evacuation order happens, that they can evacuate in a timely manner. But we understand what you're saying. Sure.
Well, we're all in this together. None of us are asking for respective political identities around here. Everybody's rowing in the same direction because everyone gives a damn. They're here for each other, and that's the spirit that defines the best of this state and this country. No one here is playing politics. We have an American president and Joe Biden that recognizes his responsibility in times of emergency. When Americans are in need, he steps up, he steps in. It's not qualified by a particular request or an expectation. And so, again, I say what I said because at the moment I don't take that for granted, candidly, like I have been the last few years. It's rather precious. And my message to the incoming administration, and I'm not here to play any politics, is please don't play any politics. There's a time and place for that. And at this moment where your question only reinforces the moments, the precious moments that we have to evacuate, we don't have time for any of that mishigash.
Yeah. Go ahead. So your question's in reference to the increased severity of wind and resources? Okay.
Yeah, was your question regarding nighttime aircraft operations? Right, so the plan is they're developing a plan for nighttime air operations. It's going to be a combination of LA City fire units, LA County fire units, state fire units, and that quick reaction force of the CH-47s that drop retardant at night. We are going to take advantage of the lower temperatures at night, but with increased wind speed, aerial firefighting becomes more dangerous. There is a cutoff mile per hour wind at which we will not operate at night. Flying during the night is more dangerous than flying during the day. We want to make sure that we don't get anybody killed, but we do want to fly both day and night. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I mean, it's going to be interesting. If the winds are going to get worse right now, it's going to be very difficult for our aerial assets to actually make a difference for the folks on the ground. It could be 30 to 40 miles an hour sustained. You know, we do have history of operating with high gusts, but it really isn't effective because as the water exits the bottom of the drop tank, it just gets carried away by the wind and never reaches the ground. So there really is no point to putting people at risk if that firefight isn't making a difference.
Was your answered question? Your question answered? Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of automatic and mutual aid. So there's automatic aid agreements between all of these agencies here. They brought their additional boots on the ground. And as the governor mentioned, we have state mutual aid. So CalFire has come in. We'll get the appropriate quantity and type of resources to mitigate this emergency. And it's an opportunity of neighbor helping neighbor. And we will do the same thing in Northern California when they need it. Yes, ma'am. Sure. So questions about abandoned cars, that's a good question that has come up. Law enforcement assists us heavily with evacuation, but please remember it's an active incident. We don't have the answers to all of these questions. We will certainly look at that. That's very important. I don't know if police felt like they wanted to make a mention to evacuations. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, just on that question of evacuations, vehicles left on the roadway. If you have to leave a vehicle on the roadway, get it as far off the road as you can so that emergency vehicles can get by. The gist of moving them with bulldozers was an emergency situation. You got to get those fire resources through, and they do what they have to do to be able to facilitate that. So we're asking really for the cooperation, and think a couple of steps ahead. It's not just your vehicle there, but then others line up behind you as well as they see what you're doing. And so I can't stress enough, please follow the evacuation orders. Do your best to be able to get out to safety. Bring the equipment you will need for the next couple of days with you, because as you've heard over and over again, this is not going to end very quickly. Thank you.
If I could just expand a little bit. On Saturday, state started to convene respective leadership across the state of California at the Office of Emergency Services. We started to pre-position early evening on Sunday in 6 or 7 counties here in Southern California. Quite literally moved assets from Northern California into Southern California. Just as an example, moments ago we had a chance to meet a crew from Santa Cruz and from Santa Clara County that just were deployed up the mountain. Those resources remain pre-positioned currently in other counties in anticipation of the concerns you just expressed and the wind events. We are anticipating, hopefully we're wrong, but we're anticipating other fires happening concurrently. And that's exactly the previous experience we've had with these kinds of wind events. And that's why we continue to provide and supplement those resources from all across Northern California in particular. One final thing, because I think it's important. My phone lights up all the time, including this morning, about people saying, well, where are all the planes? You said you put all these assets, I want to see them. It was important what the chiefs just said. We could be up there all day making people feel good, but we're not doing any good because that retardant flies all over the place. And so it's not that the planes themselves can't handle the turbulence and the wind shears. It's that simply you're not suppressing anything. And so it is a point, I know, of frustration, but then it also reinforces the preciousness of the hand crews and the men and women that are on the ground holding the line, that are up there as we speak. And that's also part of the specialty units that are part of these larger operations. We have an incident command team that quite literally is organized here in real time, and we're gaming out the next few days with the benefit of something we haven't had in the past, new technology, technoscivil and other AI-enabled technology that allows us predictive capacity in a way we've never had in the past, which is also aiding our efforts to not just prevent in some cases as it relates to early detection, but also prepare to suppress in subsequent incidences.
Yes, sir.
With winds expected to pick up, do you have any projections for where the fire might move next, or any areas that might be at risk?
It's been moving in a southwest direction towards Getty, which is moving towards the Los Angeles County Fire Department's jurisdiction. It did begin in the city, and that's the Unified Command. Good.
I know you said that there's no reported injuries. Are there any unaccounted individuals or
Not that we're aware of at this point. So that is part of the process. They are having evacuation groups that are looking at that, but we're not aware of any individuals unaccounted for. We did receive multiple 911 calls for a particular address. We did send resources in to rescue people. Okay, so what are we telling the people south of the fire? Yeah. You want me to take that or anybody else? Okay.
Thank you for asking that question. Your question was, what are we communicating to individuals that are south of the incident? I think it's really, really important for the entire public to understand, as you can see, how dynamic these winds are and how quickly they can change on a dime. So you may think, okay, I'm safe, but that key is the communication. Listen for those evacuation orders and warnings, and also be super hyper diligent in regard to what could happen. If an individual within the community wants to lean forward and just say, I'm not going to risk anything, I'm just going to go to a different area where it may be safer. Just know from the south, and with the winds as unpredictable as they are, there's very, very much at risk. So we want people to be very cognizant of that, make good decisions, make sure they can understand real-time information, and we will communicate that and articulate that very clearly. But this is very, very, very dynamic. And you can just, by standing here, seeing us with the wind gusts and with the predictability of this wind's going to get worse tonight. So we want people to lean forward, ready, set, go, and be ready. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and conclude the press conference at this point. We'll let you know if we have another press conference tonight. That's not necessarily likely. There will be PIOs available here for additional questions. Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., we do anticipate to have another joint press conference. Thank you all for sharing this important information.